Hello everyone, this is Joe from Car Flip Masters, and today we're going to be talking about why car reselling. We're going to answer that question. I'm not a big fan of the word flipping actually. So before you get into doing what we do, you might want to answer some questions to see if this is the right fit for you. And one of those things is, are you a car person? Do you like cars? If you drive around and you look at all the different models of cars and you're admiring the newer cars and older cars and you're familiar with models and things like that, that's a good sign that this might be a good thing for you. But you know, the flip side, no pun intended to that, is the fact that if you drive around and you know the difference between a sedan or an SUV, or if you didn't know that Lexus is Toyota's luxury brand, things like that, it might be that this is not going to be for you, or it might be more difficult. It doesn't mean you can't learn, but it will be more difficult. Another thing is, are you a people person? Do you love cars, right? That's why I put the heart there under that. And are you a people person? Do you love people? If you are a person that hates people, this is going to be difficult for you. If you like people, you don't necessarily have to be like super outgoing and gregarious, but it helps. But you definitely can't have a total negative dislike of people. It's going to definitely show in what you're doing and make it more difficult. So, and one thing I always, and I've said this before and I like to say it again, is you want to use money and love people, not love money and use people. So you want to definitely like cars, or at least have a great interest in cars. And also, are you a people person? Actually, I'm going to go back to this one for a second. If I said to you, what is your favorite car, or what would be your dream car? If you don't have an answer for that, that's another sign that this may not be for you. How about this? Another reason why car reselling is good is because it's your own business. You're your own boss, all right? The only person that can fire you if you own the business, or if you own what you're doing, is you. So that's a plus. Many of you might be working for somebody else, and you might get that pink slip or get that notice that you're being laid off or fired, or something weird could happen. The company could move, the industry could shut down, lots of strange things happen. People lose jobs all the time. But if you are a car reseller and you're pursuing this as your own thing, then as long as you're doing some work, then it'll always be there for you, right? Another thing is that it's hourly versus by transaction. And what I mean by hourly versus by transaction is that if you work for someone else, typically your time is given a dollar amount, whether it's $15 an hour, or 25 or 40 or 50 or 60. Matter of fact, an interesting or easy way to think about this is, if you're making $50 an hour and you work 40 hours a week, that's $2,000 a week, right? That's $104,000 a year. So for you to make six figures, you're gonna have to be making at least $50 an hour hourly. But in car reselling, since you get paid by the actual profit of the transaction, whether it's consignment or whether it's something that you bought and are reselling, your potential to make a lot more money is really great. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a good example. Right now, we're looking at purchasing a 2006 Honda S2000. And again, going back to what I said earlier, if you don't know what a Honda S2000 is, then you need to educate yourself. If you're a car person, you probably know how special that car is. I sold one several years ago for a buddy of mine, again, consignment. I think we got about 14 or 15,000 for it. The average price of those cars now is up over 30,000. So we're going to be looking to purchase that vehicle for probably a couple, maybe like 22,000. Put 2,000 or 3,000 into it, so maybe keep it around the mid-20s as our investment. And we're hoping to make 30,000 plus with that. I mean, if we even make 30,000 and we're into it for 25,000, that's a $5,000 profit for doing that work, with the potential for more. I mean, obviously, if we sold it for 32 or 33,000, that would be a real good payday. So, and that's a good example of getting paid by transaction versus hourly. It has greater returns than a lot of other things. There's a lot of different ways of making money. I could start a business where I go out and I do something manually, like maybe since we're talking about cars, maybe I become a detailer. And I know some detailers that work really hard and they make really good money, but they're working, I already said the word, hard. They're working very hard. They start in the morning, they start detailing those cars. They're making $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 a car. I know a guy recently, I went to a detailer I know, and he was getting paid a couple $1,000s to do a real high-end sports car and to really get the paint to be perfect. But he was gonna spend a lot of time on it. While that sounds like a lot of money, but once you divide the amount of hours he puts into it, it may not be that much, right? So very high or great potential for greater returns. Another reason for car reselling is providing a needed service. Sometimes, they put people who sell cars, used cars, on the same level as lawyers. But I mean, really, you're providing a needed service. If I can find a car and do some work to it and offer a car at an affordable price, say $2,000, $3,000, or $4,000, that's a price point that most dealerships, well, really all new car dealerships will not even touch. And even most used car dealerships won't even touch that. So there's a lot of people in need of inexpensive, hopefully reliable transportation, and you can fill that need. So these are some of the benefits of doing car reselling, and this is some of the things that you really need to be able to say that you are a car person, or at least that you enjoy cars and you have a love for cars, and that you're a people person. I would say that these two are really, really important. Look yourself in the mirror and make sure that you're the right person for this.